The issues affecting women have remained the same for long. Among the top issues are lack of financial empowerment, lack of access to quality education, gender inequality, and domestic violence. Well, joining us to discuss this is a woman leader and president of the Cosmopolitan Women's Club. That's Adeorike Durosimi Etti. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of my pronunciation, Kachi, aren't you? Look at that.
I was like,
look at that. Well, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. If we were to jump straight into this conversation, Kachi and I have been eager to begin.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you if you are satisfied with the representation of Nigerian women in governance. From your experience as the leader of a women's association, what ideas can you suggest that we can introduce to make things better if you are not satisfied with the representation of women in governance here in Nigeria?
Good morning. First of all, I want to say good morning to you ladies and good morning to viewers at home. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Regarding your question, where the level of women participation in politics is not adequate at all. We need to have more women participating in politics in Nigeria. There is need for a deliberate policy to encourage women to participate in politics. One of the ways by which we can do this is to provide funds for them, is to provide financial support, either through soft loans, through grants, to these women so that they can become financially independent. Once they are financially independent, they can afford to go into politics. You know, politics as of today in Nigeria, you have to incur a lot of money, starting from your posters, your flyers, your campaign organization, and even the people that are going to help you campaigning from house to house. It needs a lot of money. So government has to have a deliberate policy to encourage these women to go into politics, to give them money. Fortunately, the federal government is doing that now. It's giving out grants to people. That is need to do more. The net has to be spread wider so that a lot of people can be covered. This way, we will have women coming into politics because they have the financial capability, they have the financial independence. And another thing I want to also talk about is that political parties themselves, they have to have a deliberate policy to encourage these women by giving them financial support too, by giving them logistic support. Some of them did not have what it takes to organize themselves to be able to campaign properly. So the political parties can come in at that point to be able to help the people, to be able to help the women. And in the meantime, while we are still working on that, is something that has to be going on for a long time. We are making progress, but we still need to do more. But in the meantime, I think women should be given slots. Women should be given slots for any political position, either from the level of councillorship to the topmost. They have to reserve slots for women, either through political offices or through through elected offices or through political appointments. I'm not saying that we should sacrifice merit for slots, but when we have these slots, within this number that has been allocated to the women, there will be merit. Merit will be applied, and we'll be able to have the best of these women to take part in a political setting.
Interesting. Now, you, of course, are the president of the Cosmopolitan Women Group. I would like to know what the society is about and how it has obviously influenced the society positively.
Thank you very much. The Cosmopolitan Women Club came into existence in the year 2005. It was founded by some professional women of like mind who want to contribute, who want to pay back to their community through social development, through environmental development, through economic development. And they got together and formed this club. We have the founders, Mrs. Professor Jadesola Akonde of blessed memory is one of them. We still have with us Mrs. Onike Posho, one of our founders, Erelu Abiola Dosumu, and Mrs. Shade Thomas Farr. The club is non-political, is non-partisan, and is not political at all. So, and it's not partial. we have our objectives in the club. We are still living by the objectives set up for us by our founders, which are, let me summarize them. We have women empowerment. We want to champion the interest of women and children in the society. And of course, we do charity and we do poverty alleviation. And we also do social networking. Even though it's not a social club, we do social networking and we collaborate with other women groups who have similar objectives with us. In the area of championing of women and children's rights, we've done a lot. I remember that in fact, the Bring Back Our Girls movement was initiated by the Cosmopolitan Women Club before the movement shifted to Abuja. We were one of the founders of that movement. Since then, we have not rested on ours. We are still doing some other things. I remember in 2015, during the gubernatorial election campaign, we organized for all the gubernatorial candidates of all the political parties to a discussion to let us know what they had in stock for women. All the gubernatorial candidates participated, of all the political parties participated. And the forum was attended by a lot of women, professional groups, civil liberty organizations. We have women, market women who attended. And it was an opportunity for us to question our gubernatorial candidates. They were questioned and they told us what they had in stock for women. And the women were happy with what, they were told that it was an event that was successful, it was well attended. Lately, we also had a seminar. Social insecurity is a problem in our society now. So we organized a seminar on societal insecurity as it concerns women and as it concerns vulnerable groups, women, children, and vulnerable groups. It was also well attended. At the end of the day, we had a communique that we prepared consisting of our proposals, of our recommendations, of our observations, which we sent to all the relevant bodies. We've done a lot for the club, and we are still doing more. In fact, next week we are having a webinar to consider another issue that is very prominent in the society now. That is the role of youth. We want to see how this boundless energy of our youth can be diverted to help in the policy making of the nation and governance of the state. So we are having a webinar next week on December 9th that we are going to tackle these issues. At the end of the day, we are going to have a communique that we are going to send to all the relevant bodies. So the advert is already in the public domain, and everybody is invited.
I know that you've spoken, thank you. I know that you've spoken quite at length at the fact that while the Women's Cosmopolitan Group does a lot of work on the ground, a lot of good work, you are not a political entity and you are non-partisan. But I would like to ask you a political question, because we all watched the US election. We saw the outcome. And as women, I'm sure many of us were proud of the fact that the United States, so some people would call the country, or the leaders of the free world rather, would now have a woman as vice president. Again, we were all there 4 years ago when we saw Hillary Clinton falter and obviously not become president. If we look at the fact that a country like the United States, it's taken so long for even one woman to step foot in the White House, how long do you think it will take for Nigeria to have the presence of a woman in the highest office?
It's a work in progress. Maybe if you look at 10, 15 years ago, you hardly see women in prominent positions, political positions. But now you have ministers, you have women councillors, you have chairwomen, chairpersons of the local governments, you have commissioners. It's work in progress. We will get there. We'll get there. Is a gradual. We are gradually moving towards it. There is no way, because if you look at the zeal, if you look at how educated and how hardworking women are, there is no way, there is no time that we will not get to that exalted position. Vice President, even President of this country, it's a matter of time. We are moving in the right direction.
It is definitely a matter of time. So, as much as we are looking towards this, there are obviously some social and political barriers that stand in the way of this happening. What are some of those social and political barriers, and how do you think we can adequately tackle them?
Well, we mentioned about financial capability of our women, and we still have this tradition that women should not do certain things. We still have that in the country. So, as I said, it's a gradual process. By the time, give us another 10, 15 years, we're going to get there. The barriers, financial, I suggested that we should give them loans, parties should support them. And education too. Education is playing a very vital role. As more and more women are getting educated and breaking, they are going to break the barriers, because nothing will stop us from getting to the highest positions.
Thank you very much. I know that you've already spoken at length, but I wanted to, again, perhaps give you the floor to give us a bit more clarity on what you think the place of women's pressure groups and organizations like yours has in Nigerian society.
Pressure groups are very important, even the government cannot do without them. And I know that with our own efforts and efforts of other clubs like us, we are making impact. As I said, we tackle issues that we think should attract the attention of government, like the societal security seminar that we held. We made suggestions to government, and we believe that some of these suggestions will merit their consideration and will be implemented. So, all these things will take. They may take time, but we're going to realize them. And pressure groups are very important. There is no government that can do without pressure groups. And women too are coming up as pressure groups, just like ours. We are coming up as pressure groups, and there is no way the government will not listen to us.
Absolutely. Now, maternal health has also continued to become a conundrum in the Nigerian healthcare system, especially amongst rural dwellers. What's your take on how we should address this challenge?
It's very unfortunate that we still have, even at this day and age, that we still have a high maternal mortality rate. It's very unfortunate. But I think that education, as I said, education to the rural dwellers is very important. We have to make them realize that provision of health and going to hospitals, going to health clinics is paramount than going to traditional healers. So I want to suggest that we should have these maternity clinics. We used to have them before. Maternity homes, I'm not talking of public primary health centers. I'm talking of maternity clinics. If they can be established in each village, we will be able to, so that they can be easily accessible. They can be easily accessible to these women. Instead of walking 4 or 5 or 6 miles, kilometers to get to where they're going, if they can walk within 30 minutes and get to a maternity center, it's a small building, but staffed by qualified people. They will go a long way to reduce the mortality rate. So I want to appeal to and this thing is not going to be done by government alone. I want to appeal to our donors who donate mosques and churches to even go into donating maternity clinics in every village, because this is where the rural dwellers are. If these maternity centers are provided in every village.
I'm sorry to have to interrupt you there. We have run out of time in this segment, but please do stay where you are. We will continue this discussion right after this short break. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We're still joined by Adeorike Durosimi Etti, who is here to discuss the role of women in nation building. We're just going to continue our conversation. Thank you for waiting for us. I wanted to ask you about gender inequality. Gender inequality has reinforced beliefs that women should stick to the kitchen or remain housewives. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I think gender inequality is archaic and is becoming obsolete. Current statistics are showing that women are occupying top positions, not only in Nigeria. I mean, not only all over the world, but even in Nigeria, we are really making great progress. Women are occupying top positions, and not only that they occupy these top positions, they are combining it with managing the homes. So gender equality is becoming obsolete. Is phasing out. Is not something that is current now. And you know, once you educate a child, once you educate a girl, there is no limit to the level that the lady will assume in future. And parents should now realize the importance of women, and they know that what a man can do, a woman can even do better. So right from day one, boys and girls are being given equal opportunity. So there is no way this gender equality cannot be sustained at all. And we are seeing the impact in Nigeria too. We have women ministers, we have women MDs. They're all over the place. Look at the MD of MPA. She's doing very well. She's the MD, and we had a woman speaker before, and there is no way very soon that we will not have a Senate leader, a woman Senate leader. So it's not something. It's not current. That word gender equality is not current again. What we have now is women assuming their positions and also managing the homes as well. So there is no fear on the part of the men that if their wives occupy top positions that they will not be able to manage the homes. It's not correct. Now, women are combining both. They are amazing. They are doing very well. So there is no need for any inequality. There is no cause for it at all.
Absolutely. But would you agree that separating certain issues sometimes contributes to the concept of gender inequality? As much as it's becoming up to as much as a lot of people are standing against it, the fact is it still very much exists in our society. For instance, secondary school systems where you have courses like technical drawing, and then you have courses like textiles, clothing and textiles, or food and nutrition. And then you have the technical drawings and the more, technical courses situated towards something the boys would enjoy. And you have a lot more boys being encouraged to go there. And then with clothing and textiles, with food and nutrition, if you find a boy there, it's like, you're not supposed to be here. And then it's more like these are things that are supposed to be for girls. So separating education in that manner, separating jobs, for instance, where it's only like, there's certain jobs that are better suited for men and better suited for women. Just separating situations, do you think that contributes to gender equality, or that just,
I think those are just assumptions. Okay. We have women pilots. Now look at that lady that was killed, that was murdered.
Absolutely.
She was a pilot. She was one of the best. And we have female engineers. They go to oil rigs. So there is nothing there is no cause for it. It's only, I think, is the past. Don't let me say male chauvinism, but it's gradually being eroded. I have a daughter. She's doing technical drawing in school, and she's doing well in it. I don't think any subject in schools is being allocated strictly for boys or strictly for girls. I'm not talking about domestic science. Boys may not feel happy to go and be doing that kind of, they may not be well disposed towards it. But other courses, there are no, as far as I know about educational system in some parts of Nigeria, there's no discrimination. So even if it were, it's gradually being eroded, as I said. So gender equality is becoming obsolete. It's becoming obsolete. It will disappear from our landscape in Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much. In addition to discussing about sexual harassment, I want to talk about another sensitive issue. It has been said that 1 in 4 girls will experience some form of sexual abuse in their childhood, and the numbers are equally or somewhat also alarming for boys. It's in fact 1 in 9 boys will experience some form of sexual abuse in their childhood. When you think of that, especially in a country as populous as Nigeria, it means that many people are walking around with trauma, with poor resources at their disposal to deal with that trauma. Does the Women's Cosmopolitan group you preside over, does it have any framework in place to look after victims and survivors of sexual abuse in this way?
So this sexual harassment leading to raping is very unfortunate, and is a novel incident in Nigeria, because 10-15 years ago we didn't have so many cases of rape, but now it's like a pandemic. It's very unfortunate and it's very sad. I think apart from the fact that the government has to put in stiffer penalties, we parents, we have an obligation to educate our children, especially boys. A lot of premium have been placed on girls, that girls should know how to dress, should not be in a certain place at a certain time. But boys too have to be told that they have to respect women. That women are their better half. They have been created by God just like they have been created, and there is no need to make them do something that beyond their will. So education of the boys too is very, very important. Probably it will with time it will change the minds of these people, of these boys, of growing to men, to stop this raping, sexual harassment leading to rape. Fortunately, we have support groups that are ready to provide support for all these victims, immediate support to all the victims, morally and financially, and they are doing very well. We have a lot of them. But the most important thing is that government has to step in. The law on raping has to be reviewed. It has to be reviewed with the aim of imposing stiffer penalties on the rapist. That has to be done, and the cases of rapes that have been taken to court should be dispensed with as early as possible. Because the longer it takes, the longer the rapist feels so confident that they are getting away with it. But if a rape case is brought to the court and is disposed of within 2-3 weeks, or even at most 1 month, it will serve as a warning to these rapists, these prospective rapists. And besides, the punishment has to be looked into. I know that there are in some countries they are advocating for castration of the guilty rapist, but while I'm not advocating that in Nigeria, I think there's need to have stiffer penalty. The law has to be reviewed in order to provide to protect the women. And there's no limit to which there's no limit to the age at which women are not being raped. Women of 70, we read of cases of women of 70 being raped. So there is no caution. They have thrown caution to the wind. That's why it's necessary to have stiffer penalty for them. And rape cases should be dispensed with as quickly as possible when it gets to the courts. Maybe that will serve as a deterrent to this rapist.
Well, we can certainly hope that would be a good place to start. Well, Adeorike Durosimi Etti, thank you very much for your time. Kachi and I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.